Good evening to everyone who's currently here. Welcome one, welcome all. Hello to JJ, hello to Laura Lawler, hello to Shoshana. Sorry, hey Chelsea girl, hey 345 Berry. We have, who else we got here? Tina Davis, Steph Coleman's in the house. Tina Davis, your name just kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? It's like, ooh, Tina Davis. I imagine, you know, the X Factor guy. That's always a good name for the X Factor. Oh my God, Tina Davis. Also, I'm really sorry, but I think I just might have gobbed all over the screen, so I do apologise if that's the case. Joe Wright's here. Oh, don't worry. Apparently, your kids. What your kids' school Zoom call? Why have you got a kids' Zoom call at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday evening? Oh my God, is it parents' evening? Hey, Luke Story. Hey, Annie Brown. Hey, Margaret Wright. Where are you all watching from this evening? Type it in the comments box. I'm currently broadcasting from a rather cold, dreary, rainy Cleethorpes. Hello, Nicola Sinnott, welcome. And apparently Annie Brown is having a midweek wine. So good for you, Annie Brown. Hey, McDonald's Farmer. Oh, we've got Birmingham. Good old Brummie. Surrey, North London, South East Kent, Doncaster, Essex, Brighton. The Wirral. Gabrielle, thank you. I'm very well. How are you all doing? It is, I think it's 2 weeks in, or at least I know it's 2 weeks to go until the 2nd of December. And you know what that day means? That day means that we are out of lockdown. How are we all feeling about that? Do you think we should stay in lockdown for longer? Do you think restrictions need to get tighter? Or do you think it is time to start the ball going? Start the ball going? Who knows what that means? Hi, Leon, all the subs. Happy Wednesday evening. I am in Southampton. Ah, Kate Wynn is here, and she says, loving the t-shirt, babes. Thanks, babes. It's a new one. You probably haven't seen it on me before. What are we all drinking? I'm on the gin and tonic with pink grapefruit. Now, listen, I'd like to explain, actually, to any of you watching currently live, or actually, if you would be watching this after the live, that when I say I'm drinking a gin and tonic, this is actually my clean gin. I had a comment from some woman saying, oh, you drink too much. You shouldn't be drinking on YouTube. Firstly, I would like to say that on that particular video, I wasn't actually drinking. And secondly, I would also like to say that I can do what I want on my YouTube channel. So if I want to get drunk, then I am more than happy to. And you can do what you want by clicking off the screen and never watching again. But the embarrassing thing for that person who commented it is I wasn't even drinking alcohol at the time. So the trouble is, I genuinely act drunk when I'm sober, so no one can ever tell. But if you must know, I haven't had an alcoholic beverage for 13 days. Mandy Keegan says it doesn't feel like we're in a lockdown. Fairy Dust Sunshine says I think restrictions should get tighter. Get the ball rolling, Chelsea girl. Thank you very much. That is the analogy I was looking for. Tina Davis, I think they'll put us in tears. It's all going to end in tears, isn't it, Tina Davis? We're all just going to go in tier 3. Apart from London, I bet they'll put that in tier 2. I don't see how we can go into the tier system, says Gabrielle, if we haven't been tested. Surely testing's the answer here, guys. Don't you think? I was thinking, I've been reading apparently they're going to have a 5-day, I don't think they're going to call it this, but it seems like a free-for-all, a 5-day free-for-all over Christmas. But surely if they could just manufacture loads of rapid tests, that is going to help now, where you can just do it at home. Francois says, stay in lockdown longer and tighter restrictions because the second lockdown doesn't feel like a lockdown. I've said it since day one, Francois. It's a fake lockdown. I'm calling it a fuckdown, okay? It is a fake lockdown. It's a fuckdown. Margaret says, I think it will be mad. Everyone's going Christmas shopping. I haven't done one single shop for Christmas yet. You tell them, Lee, I agree with you. Yeah, exactly. If you don't like it, do on. Easy. I know. Wasn't it funny? Margaret writes, drinking water. I found it quite astonishing, actually. I was a bit like, I wanted to say, but sometimes when you print something, it looks even worse, kind of isolated on the text. I actually wanted to say, who do you think you are? I was like, wait, who are, like, I can do what I want. And also, you can do what I want. I mean, she's well within her right to say that I was drinking too much. But I was just a bit like, what? You know, I don't ever watch a video and go, oh, I don't like that. I'm going to tell them. What I do is I just don't watch it. Here, says Amanda Keegan. Good evening, Sue Wood. Don't apologise. Francoise, don't listen to those trolls. Oh, I didn't know if they were trolls or not. I just thought it was someone highly opinionated. I didn't know if if it was a troll or not. I don't really know the difference between a troll and someone just overly opinionated. But anywho, it's all fine. Sally Pullman says, we love a tipsy Lee. Thank you, Sally Pullman. I'll get back on that. Katie Travers, welcome. She says, don't worry about it, Lee. Just ignore comments like that. Hey, Chris Lewin. Are you the Chris Lewin that went to see Lou swimming that time? If so, welcome. You might have migrated over from my Instagram. Jade Louisa says, I worry that cases will go crazy after Christmas. Yeah, I think we have to basically, so the good news is that it's been surrounding us. Don't you think at the minute we've had so much bad news and now they're just going, right, I can feel the tide is turning, give them loads of good news before Christmas. Who knew that Dolly Parton would be the savior of the second vaccine? Vaccine. Who knew? I didn't know, but I'm not surprised because Dolly Parton is everything. And yeah, I just think positivity is incoming. Do you not feel it? Do you not feel it on the horizon? Do you not feel like this vaccine, apparently 95% efficacy, it's going to be amazing? I can't wait. Sarah Parsons says, Lee, you are at home. If you drink whatever you like, you suck what people... Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Suck what people say. Thank you, Sarah Parsons. Kay, I cannot wait until we go out for bottomless brunch, karaoke, and book flights somewhere fabulous. So those of you who haven't already come across Kay, she often features on my Live with Lee and Friends. And thank you, Dun9977, who says I've got a nice voice. Thank you very much. And Kate is actually my oldest friend, and not as in oldest, as in she's really old, as in I've known her the longest friend. And we used to go to this on a Saturday. I hope the woman about alcohol's watching, because I tell you what, you are going to faint if you are. We used to, on a Saturday, we had this bottomless brunch at a place called Kettner's in London. And basically, it was unlimited cocktails and Prosecco for 2.5 hours, and then a bit of brunch. And we used to, because it's a bit like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You know when you've paid for a buffet and you're practically kind of doing forward what rolls through the buffet table, trying to force yourself in everything? Or you know when you pay for like a box of pick a mix and you're like stuffing down every, like you're fisting the box, you're like pushing it down so you can get as many pick a mix in as possible. We used to do that with the drinks because they were unlimited for a certain amount of time. And then we used to get absolutely sloshed. This was in the afternoon. We used to ring a random karaoke place, and it would be like 3 in the afternoon, and we'd go, do you have any free booths? And they'd be like, yes, because most people don't come to karaoke at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we'd go and do that, and we just had a great time. And I'm just reminiscing now. And I realised that was probably quite a boring story for you to listen to. But anyway, Laura Lawler says, don't risk it for Christmas. That could be their next slogan, couldn't they? Don't risk it for Christmas. Kate says her best score was 10 in 2 hours. 10 really strong cocktails in 2 hours. I mean, we were absolutely on one. And that just seems like a lifetime away, doesn't it? Don't you think? Don't you think, when are we going to get back to normal? This is one of my questions today. It feels like the new normal is approaching, or old normal. I'd rather have the old normal because I'm not sure what the new normal entails. When do you think it will be, and are you ready for it? Do you think that we're going to have like a influx of people really struggling how to cope with it? I mean, we are going to have an influx of people who are unemployed. That is just a fact already. So I do think it's going to be a worry, because for me, mentally, I am okay at the minute, and I think it's because I'm not really missing anything. I don't feel like I'm missing anything in terms of, I'm not missing London, where I used to live, because it's not the same London as I had before. I'm not really, it's not like I can't do things, because everyone seems to not be able to do things. Gabrielle says, I can't wait to go back to my office. Isn't it funny? Isn't it so funny how people are going, I can't wait to be back at the office? It's like, you probably have never have said that before. You would probably never have craved to go back to a poorly ventilated office space with sharing it with people you particularly don't love. Yeah, it's weird. Nicholas agrees. I ain't missing anything either. And Tina Davis says they keep mentioning spring. I have in my head April. I really would like it to be April, and anything before is a bonus, and anything after, I'm like, come on now, we're all tired. Richard Miller, hey, I think improvements in the situation will be noticed in the spring with more normality in the summer. Oh, God. See, the summer for me just feels like a long way away. Denise CV, my province shut down when we only had 2 cases. After reopening, we're just getting our first real wave. Oh, it's Digital Dreambot. Welcome. Where are you, Digital Dreambot? And I should call you Denise. One, because I can't say the word Digital Dreambot. This is why everyone thinks I'm drunk all the time, because I slur. Fairy Dust Sunshine says I have low immunity, so I have to be really careful. Fairy Dust, can I just ask you something as someone with low immunity? Do you think that those without low immunity should shield as well to protect those with low immunity? Or do you think that there should be a certain element of, it's just unfortunate that you have low immunity? What's your opinion on that? I'm just wondering. I'm not passing judgment on either one. Luke's story, I'm hoping this COVID is all over in another year, because I'm planning to go on Europe travels with my friend in 2022, and I don't want to worry. Luke, if this thing isn't done by 2022, I don't know what will happen, all right? I'm going to throw it out there, Luke. I think, fingers crossed, you're going to be okay, because I'm aiming for April 2021. And if it's not here in 2022, get that fire exit door, I'm out. Annie Brown. Do you know what's funny? Sorry, I'm just going up to Michelle's comment. Everyone says, I'm so sorry I'm late. You're not late. You're not late. It's fine. I mean, you are a bit late, but don't be sorry about it. Well, thank you for saying that. Chris, I think it will take a while for things to go back to normal, such as trains having an increase in customers. Stores will struggle to get people in. Also, right, okay, I mean, we always talk about what you miss. So what I miss is theatre. I miss going out to pubs and bars and stuff. What don't you miss? What is it about this lockdown? Let's talk about the things we don't miss. What is it about COVID that you don't miss? Richard says, let's celebrate the good vaccine news. Yeah, we were just talking about that actually, Richard. It is cause for celebration. And I wanted to ask everyone as well, which I'm going to ask after this question. I'm going to ask about whether you would want to take a vaccine or not, because there's so much talk. It's such a funny culture at the minute with the UK, because there is so much talk. Sorry, what's going on with my hair? There's so much talk about vaccines, and everyone like, get the vaccine. And then when you talk to someone, they're like, well, I wouldn't take a vaccine. It's kind of, I'm worried that we're going to get to the situation where we're like, everyone, we've got the vaccine, and they're like, okay, good luck with that, I'm not going to have it. Would you take a vaccine, or would you not? How are you feeling about it at the minute? I read a really interesting tweet that I'll tell you about shortly. But in relation to the thing that I just said about the shielding with fairy dust sunshine, says it's a difficult one. I'm isolating, but I do wish everyone abides by the rules so I can go out and know I am safer. I guess it's a balance between kind of striking that balance between trying to protect the vulnerable and the shielding, but also trying to ensure that other things such as cancer treatments, mental health, etc., we have to try and find a balance, which is just crazy that we're even talking about that. Linda says, I don't miss driving to work. I'm sure you don't, Linda. I bet that's I don't miss having to be in the same room as people I find really irritating, says Sean James Grant. Brilliant. I miss not having to overthink every trip out of the house. Just get up and go instead of go out and worry. Oh, Denise, that makes me feel a little bit sad, but I'm glad that you don't miss that. I guess there's a certain level of simplification that this whole thing has made. It's definitely simplified a lot of stuff. I mean, I look back at my life before and I think, God, I spent a lot of money on a lot of shit that I didn't need. Richard Miller, I will take a vaccine which is approved by the regulator as soon as it's available to me. Okay, so on this note about vaccines, I read this tweet today and it's really interesting. The reason that vaccines often take a long time is not because of creating the vaccine, etc., which, you know, is part of it, but a lot of it is due to the back and forthness of getting it approved by such and such, government regulations, blah, 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 blah. And we don't really have a kind of efficient infrastructure in place which enables that vaccine to get pushed through as quick as we'd like. However, in COVID times, that's been thrown out the window and the government's gone, get it out, get it out, get it out. So all this kind of toing and froing that you usually have with the vaccine, the back and forth, has gone. So that is why actually they will be able to get this vaccine out quicker. It's not because they've gone, oh, mix a few things together. Oh yeah, that'll do, try it. They don't do that. They still go through the necessary regulations that it needs. But what they've done is they've kind of fast-tracked it, because rather than them being in a massive long queue for getting it regulated and kind of doing the admin side of it, they've actually been able to fast-track and jump the queue because governments have gone, this is priority right now. So it made me feel, it made sense to me when I read that. And this guy was a scientist. This guy's like, listen, the scientists don't just go, oh, quick, get it out, get it out. They're not like that. That's not how scientific minds work. Scientific minds work in the sense that they go, is this right? They don't care, okay, about, what's the word? They don't care about kind of government pressure or anything like that. They don't care about what people are craving. They obviously do, but what all they care about in that moment is the scientific truth, okay? So they're not going to put out a vaccine and go, yeah, it's all good, and then think, oh God, fingers crossed. Of course they're going to put it out, and of course it's going to reach the same levels of safety measures. The reason it's taken them, you know, less time and it's been way quicker to get it out is because they've not had to go through all the stupid slowness of the admin, and people have gone, I'm ready to deal with this as soon as you are, so send me what you've got. The scientists must be loving life. The scientists at the minute now for vaccines must go, you know, if we look at vaccines in the future that probably aren't necessarily prioritized as much, They'll be going, listen, I sent you this thing to get approved, this document. You've taken 3 weeks to get it back to me. When it was COVID-19, it took you 3 minutes. So I know you can do it. It's kind of one of those things. If the vaccine has passed regulations, Gabrielle says, I definitely will have it if it means I can go back to normal. Same. The only thing I think the reason I won't have a vaccine is because I probably just won't be on the list for a long time. Richard Miller, oh yes, I read that tweet. It's usually difficult to get companies interested in the admin, and slow processes can cause great delays. But as you say, this time, money has been no object. Richard has just succinctly summed up what I was trying to say, but probably not as coherently as he has done. But let's move on from vaccination, and talk about who is watching I'm a Celebrity. Oh, so I watched the launch show of I'm a Celebrity and I thought, oh, I'm not sure I'm into this. I'm really not sure I'm going to get into this. And then I didn't watch the second episode, but I watched the third, and I am hooked. Well, I'm not hooked. That's a lie. I just enjoyed it. Nicola's watching it. Linda's watching it. Who are your favourites so far? Who do you predict will win it? Okay. Oh, everyone's watching it. I think it peaked the other day. I think the launch show peaked at 12 million viewers, I believe, which for this day and age is huge. Cheers, everyone. That's a pink tonic as well. So my drink today looks particularly camp. Also, who else prefers? Well, I don't know if I prefer it in the castle, but I really like the castle vibes. I really, really like the set and the backdrop, the castle in the background. I really quite like those vibes. Jordan or Bev to win, says Sean James Grant. I agree. I think they at the minute are the two kind of the duo, aren't they? There was a moment in I'm a Celeb where Bev turned to Jordan and she goes, I love you, Jordan. And honestly, it brought a tear to my eye. And I don't know why. I think it was because you could tell she really meant it. And I just thought it was lovely. She just turned and was like, oh, I love you, Jordan. And I don't know, she just had a certain vulnerability that got me. Okay, it just got me. Katie says she's really liking the change. Margaret says, I sat next to Bev in a restaurant in Manchester and she didn't order what she ate last night. Oh my God. Right, so I wanted to ask that. What is it in that eating trial? And I have to say, I was gipping slightly when Vernon Kay was eating those balls. I was like, what do you think you couldn't have eaten in that trial? I genuinely think I would have struggled with it all, but I think the worst is the drinking. I think I'd be okay eating something, but if I had to drink something, the liquid going in and like the taste, I'd be like, what would you struggle with the most? Sarah says, I don't see it. Watching Get Me Out of Here scares me. Does it scare you, Sarah? Why does it scare you? There's been nothing scary about it at the minute. Chelsea says she couldn't eat all of it. The eyeball, Margaret Wright. Oh, the trouble with an eyeball is when you eat an eyeball, I imagine juices come out of it. Oh, do you know what I mean? I imagine it kind of like, I imagine it's a little bit like when you eat a big kind of gobstopper, but it has kind of liquid in it. I imagine it just spurts out. Laura said that tongue looked like a huge penis. Oh my God, Dun9977 says, what will they do for the last big trial? That is my favorite trial. Okay, I think it's everyone's. I don't care about the eating trial. If I was on I'm a Celebrity, the one thing I would want to do is do that trial. It looks so fun, don't you think? And I am absolutely obsessed with it. It's just so funny, isn't it? They just squirt everyone with water, and they're right near the star, and then a big cannon of water just comes down, and they're back to the star. When I was a kid, we used to have this big kind of blue plastic sheet in the garden. We used to fill it with fairy liquid, and we just used to slide on it. It's like a giant one of those. I absolutely would love one. Maureen says, I'd just get on and I'm hearing about eating an eyeball. What the heck are we talking about? Maureen, I'm not sure whether you get this in the States, but we're talking about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And it's one of these things where celebrities go on and the great British public vote for them to eat really awful things. There are other aspects involved as well, but this was the most recent one. And it's quite, it's quite, yeah, it's quite grotesque. So that's what we were talking about eyeball wise. And Emma Staple, you are totally right. The celebrity cyclone. I really do think they will still do it. It's easy, surely. You could have the celebrity cyclone anywhere. Yeah. Margaret says they could have a big joisting fight. Well, yes, they could, but I don't know what that would achieve. I guess they're working together in the celebrity cyclone. Maureen says, yes, okay, I've heard of it. Sorry, some of these are UK references, but I realise a lot of you are over from the States, and I do know we've got some Australian viewers on here as well. Oh, apparently Laura says that there's a USA version now. Don't you also think, while Maureen's here and we're talking about the States, Trump has been a little quiet of late? What's going on there? Do you think legally he probably has to because it's going through the courts? Although I haven't heard anything. Is it going through the courts? Has it been through any of the? I assume it's the Supreme Court at the minute. Is it the state Supreme Court? Maureen, you will probably know more than me. But I've just thought, oh, haven't heard much from the old Trumpathon. What's he been doing? Gabrielle asks, are you still able to have driving lessons? I don't know if they're still going ahead, but I said to the guy that I'm not going to do them while we're in lockdown. I needed a bit of a break from them anyway, only because, well, I just felt like it was overdoing it a little bit, and I kind of thought I don't really need a car yet. So I'm having a bit of a break, and then hopefully when lockdown is eased slightly, then we might pop back on. It's kind of one of those things I think if I overdo it so much, I think I just need to bite the bullet, get a car and start driving, because I am legally allowed to do that. I have passed my test. Richard Miller says he's trying in many federal courts but failing in most. Do you think he'll take it to the Court of Appeals? Maureen, okay, there was blatant voter fraud. Recounts are going on. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? There has been a lot of talk about that. I've been reading kind of things where the media and a lot of obviously the left and I guess centre as well are just totally saying it's a complete lie. And then the right and maybe some of the centre right are saying that there is. But hasn't there always been a bit of a history of voter fraud? I'm not using that as an excuse, but I definitely have always thought there's been slight voter fraud. And isn't it the case, Maureen, and I'm not sure about this, but isn't it the case where some states tried to enact laws which specifically decided whether you were allowed like voter identification or something? Or was that overturned because it was deemed unconstitutional? Let me know about that. Maureen says Biden is the projected winner, which means he's not in yet. Yeah, I have to say, Maureen, and I am not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. However, I do try and stay as objective as I can. And I have to say that the whole fact, the projectedness is something that needs to be drilled home. He's not yet because it's going through the courts. Technically, I don't think, like the media saying, he's the next president, and he probably will be, in my opinion. But I don't think that they should be so kind of hammering it in. And it does sometimes make me think. Sometimes I go, right, let me think of the other side. And I think, why are they doing that? And they're just the questions that I'm currently asking myself. I said to my friend the other day, I said, I sometimes have to put myself in the realm of, all right, let's try and look at it from Trump's point of view, and what if he's telling the truth? There's so many people who are like, no, it's a lie. Just for a minute, okay, try and put yourself in the mindset of going, what if he's telling the truth? It's interesting. Denise says, in Canada, we're waiting for the neighbours downstairs to figure this all out. The US election is so complicated to most of us. Isn't it complicated, the US election? Do you know what I didn't know about the Electoral College as well until very recently? And it's such a complicated version. But when you vote, okay, Maureen can probably back me up on this. When you vote in states, okay, you obviously have a certain amount of electoral votes, right? You are voting for the president, but what you're technically voting for, technically, is the someone who represents the electoral college in that state, or however many seats of the electoral college. So it's a winner takes all thing. And what then happens is, if, let's say, everyone voted for Biden in a certain state, or Biden won in a certain state, then the that state's electoral college representatives then go and have the power to vote, and they could, if they wanted to, vote not for Biden. They could vote for Trump, and that's what they call a faithless voter. Am I right in saying that, Maureen? Am I right in saying that? I think that's true. And it baffles me. It's like, oh my God, that would be such betrayal. Imagine if everyone in the States elected these representatives from the Electoral College and voted Republican, for example, and then all these Republican representatives went, you know what? I'm going to vote Democrat. And they can do that because you haven't technically voted for Biden or Trump. You voted for the representative from the Republicans. Although I do know that in the history, apparently, no faithless voters have ever changed the course of the election. Richard Miller says Hillary is an elector in New York this year. Yes, faithless electors. I assume you probably choose people that you know aren't gonna betray you. But yeah, it's quite a and I hope you don't think I'm being insulting here, Maureen. Sorry, of course, the wrong name. But it's quite a weird system of voting. Do you not think? It's a slightly strange way of doing it. Not doing the popular vote. But I guess the argument is that they still want the power to be in the states rather than the whole country. Some states are obviously have more power. Sorry, I didn't see what you posted, Maureen. Let's have a look at this. I was watching on election night. Weirdest thing I've ever seen. They literally stopped counting votes that night. Around 2 or 3 in the morning, thousands of votes went in all of a sudden. I guess we'll just have to say watch this space. I guess also it depends on how much you trust the federal courts. So yeah, Sean says, can we get back to your silly word association game already, please? Sorry, I went into politics there. I'm so sorry. What did you all think of that word association game? Wasn't it funny? This is where you all go, never do it again. Don't you think it was just, it's so addictive. I got a text soon after from someone on Instagram saying, I have just ordered 2 whiteboards off Amazon and we are going to be playing that game with my housemates. It's addictive. Don't you think? Oh, Maureen, I hope I didn't offend you there. I was just, I do think it is a bit of a strange system of voting. Do you not agree, Maureen? What do you think? I mean, I understand why they do it, but I also I find it sometimes a little bit what's the word? I just think it's a bit complex, but maybe it should be. Craig was hilarious, says Sean. Yeah, he was hilarious. And Michelle loved seeing Craig and Kate too. Emma Staple says, I missed it. What was the game? Well, the game was something called Match Me If You Can. And you basically, the aim of the game is you have two partners, and you basically have to say the same word but without conferring with each other. So there's ways of saying it, and it's kind of like a word association one. So I might say breakfast and you might say kettle, and then we might both say tea, but if the other person says coffee, you haven't got it. And it's a really kind of addictive. Oh, Janet says sorry, Lee, but Kate was best in the hot seat. Well, that's because as well I couldn't explain the rules very well. So maybe from now on, Kate should host it. I will forward that feedback to you. Maureen says, no, never offended. It's just what I'm used to, so not strange to me. Yeah, I do try, and I think you've commented on this before, Maureen. I try to be as objective as possible. And I am quite interested to see what the courts. I've said to my friends, I was like, don't celebrate it just yet, only because it's going to be a court case. And I'm not saying that Biden won't be elected, but I'm not saying that he will. I think we should wait and see what the courts have to say. And there's a reason that they have the judicial kind of review there and the courts. Yeah, the titles, Sean Grant says, was it called Match Me If You Can? I did a typing error. If anyone wants to go and rewatch it, it's on there, me, Craig and Kate, and it's called A Very Addictive Game. And yes, I accidentally called it. Oh, in fact, I'll show you the titles. It's on here. If you want to see the titles, it's still on there. Notice the spelling error. And you'll watch on the video back, and I don't notice it. I was too busy dancing away because I made it in such haste, because as you can probably tell, it's not a very perfect put together video. And Kate's like, there's a typing error, and there's a reaction where I'm like, what? Like, where's the typing error? And I had to replay it because I didn't believe it. But yes, there was a typing error. And maybe I'll keep it. Maybe we should call the game Match It Me You Can. Match It Me You Can. Janet says, I'd leave it like that now, Lee. It's just showing you haven't matched anything. Yeah, it just shows the nature of the game. I can't even match my own bloody brain. 345 Berry says it's a mistake, Lee. Don't worry about it. Thank you, 345 Berry. I'm not worried. Okay, it's not, I find it quite funny. Gabrielle, Lee, you're a very awesome person. You cheer us up on these lives. Well, thank you so much, Gabrielle. Did I ever tell you about the time that we had the singer Gabrielle on the show on Loose Women? And I kept making stupid jokes. You know, she's got the songs. I kept making stupid jokes. I'd be like, I remember they were talking about thermostats, and in the break I was like, oh, Gabrielle doesn't have to worry about a thermostat in her home. It's always hot, isn't it? She's got sunshine through her windows. And she was like, and then I remember one time, you know, the Loose Women mugs, I kept going, oh, Jack, floor manager Jack, I go, could you pass Gabrielle the mug? It's a little bit out of reach. And honestly, she just didn't enjoy it. Emma Staple, name drop. You should be in the castle. It's not a name drop. I was just saying she thought my jokes were shit, and that's because they were. Hi Lee, says Kaz, not chatting tonight. My son was rushed to Hull Royal Infirmary for emergency surgery today. Oh, Kaz, sending love. I went there as a kid a few times, and it's an amazing hospital. So it's in a great place. I hope all is well with you, Kaz. Janet says it's like the No Name Sunday show. I don't know what that means. Nadia's No Name Sunday show. What's that in reference of? Anyway, guys, I hope you're all feeling well. We have exactly 2 weeks until lockdown 2.0 ends. And who knows, we're probably going into lockdown tier 3 for everyone. And yes, 345 Berry, it is loose men tomorrow. Oh, God. I'm so annoyed. Marvin Humes, Ronan Keating, Roman Kemp. Who's the other one? Ian Sterling and Matthew McConaughey on the show, all 5 of those guys, and I'm not in the studio. Can you believe it? I'd have been like, where do I look? I'd have been absolutely loving life. I'd have been like, come on in, guys. Come on in. Sadly, I'm not going to be there, so I can't see them in the flesh. Anyway, Emma Staples says, we're only 2 weeks in. It feels like so much longer. Yeah, it does. And we've got 2 weeks to go. So hanging in there, guys. If you have enjoyed the live, if you enjoyed this video, whether you're watching it right now or whether you're going to be watching it back, then please do hit that little thumbs up icon, because that helps the algorithm, apparently, and it pushes out the video to more. And if you haven't already, there should be a little icon right here, and you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell, which will alert you when my videos are on. I laugh every time I say that because every good YouTuber is like, hi, remember to subscribe to my channel and please don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated on any new videos. And I'm like, every time I say it, I'm like, yeah, if you could just hit the notification bell or don't, who cares? Yeah, please do that though, because it does help with the numbers and it's completely free. So it would be lovely if you could. And yeah, take care. Someone's just said we need more story time. Are those the videos of Talking Heads? If you haven't already watched that, please go and watch the one about me being a polar bear. It's quite funny, but it's also a very embarrassing job that I had. So head on over. There's more of those to come. I just need to write a lot. Take care. Go. You've got 20 minutes to pour a drink or make a cup of tea before I'm a Celebrity, and we'll see you soon. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all happy, and yeah, thanks for joining. Bye.